Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where in the background we just had the startup of an 812 Superfast, but I'm actually at Ferrari, Meridien Modena Ferrari, to pick up the GTC4Lusso, which has been in for a service, a check over, the usual kind of things, following my dad driving it while I've been over in the USA. So I'm going to drive the car now back towards London, which as always should be pretty good fun because I haven't really driven the car all that much. That sounded really good. Then we'll have a bit of a garage update with the various cars that are there, what's going on with them, what's happening with each and every one, and well, I guess just run through it all and talk a little bit more about what's up next. So onwards, a drive in the Lusso. That is the demo car, but I'm here actually at the new service centre, the after sales, which inside is incredibly impressive. They've obviously got a lot of different cars, many private customer cars, so we can't go through all of those. But I drove this car one time when I had that break between my two US parts, but it kind of feels like picking up a new car. It is presented here in the handover bay, the after sales delivery area. Of course, my Tour de France Blue GTC4Lusso V12 that happens to make an awful lot of noise. But the spec of this car, honestly, just seeing it here presented with the carbon louvers, it feels like a new car. And as I said many times before, I've actually known the history of the car from the beginning. The previous owner was a good friend of mine, a very close friend, so I've followed the life of this car through its previous ownership. And later on, I'm going to show you something that goes with this car. You'll see what I mean in a little bit when we get back home. For now though, let's awaken the beast, bring the V12 into life, which always sounds absolutely epic. So one press just to turn on the ignition. In here, we have the Novitec Switchtronic, so the buttons open and control the valves to get even more sound out of it, which of course is something we love. I'm not sure if that's open or closed at the moment, but in any case, let's fire this up then and have a listen to the sound of the Ferrari V12. It's always such a good sound, and we are surrounded by some nice pictures up on the walls as well. But this thing sounds mega. It is a fantastic car to drive each and every time. I just really enjoy it. It's a great daily all-round driving machine that I imagine I'm going to own for quite a while. I've had it for what, about 8 months now, that kind of thing, since earlier in the year. Did the whole Where Shmee tour with it. But anyway, I think it's a little bit warm because of course they brought it over from service. That's like not many revs. Not even 4,000 RPM. The car sounds mega. Let's head out on the roads though, get back over towards the garage so I can tell you a little bit more. It is a good 2 hours or so though to get from here back towards London. It would have handed me the seatbelt if I had been a touch more patient with it, but nice and comfortable, very warm already. It feels strange to be back in here. It is like learning a new car again. I just need to work out how everything works. This is actually really confusing. It sounds stupid, but when you jump in and out of lots of different cars, sometimes it can get a tad confusing as to how they all work. For example, memory seats. How does that work? Open the door, have a quick look. What do we have down there? The controls on the door. Prime case in point. M1 I'm hoping is me. That's going to be my position. Come back. There we go. Tip it around a little bit. Okay, feeling good, comfortable. Auto gearbox. Let's drive in manual. Enjoy the noise of it. We are in sport on the Manatino. Out we go. The burbles and rumbles of this thing inside here, just super, super cool. Unfortunately, the weather, not exactly on side, but a rather nice little line of Ferrari cars to drive past. Unfortunately, that does mean the car is not going to be super clean and tidy when we get back home. Indicators on the steering wheel, as usual with Ferraris. Again, another thing to get familiar with. That sound though, that sound is just heavenly. That's what it's all about with this car. Remember, of course, they make the Lusso as a V12 and also as the Lusso T with the 3.9 litre turboed V8. But this is just... dreamy, dreamy, dreamy noise that to me was a big factor in this car. Well, it's back now. It hasn't been in the garage recently, but it's going to be at home for a while. This junction is horrendous. It is so busy, even though we're in a traffic jam. and everybody is very, very, very pushy, as you can imagine.
Roadworks reported on the road ahead.
Or roadworks ahead, and everyone wants to get home from work. Anyway, we're on the road. This is the important bit, heading towards London. End of roadworks, national speed limit sign. I'm not going to boot it around a corner because even though this car is four-wheel drive, it does like to slide around if you give it full power. That, on the other hand, is just the greatest. If you put the window down just a touch, it's such a heavenly sound. I've driven a few V12s recently, of course, but there's something about the way Ferrari do it. So much passion and emotion in the sound of an exhaust note. Anyway, we're going to be joining the motorway. It's not going to be an interesting drive. It is going to be dark in no time at all, about 4:30 in the afternoon. Winter time is never the best, but onwards towards the storage where all the cars are kind of dotted in random places. We'll get to that later on. This is completely and totally a cruise back towards London. The roads are damp, the clouds are grey, it's been pretty congested, lots of roadworks, taking it easy. The car is in comfort mode, I've popped it into auto, I've closed the exhaust valves, total chill out. But I do have something very exciting, by the way, to tell you before we get back, which is that we are relaunching the Shmee150 Shop. The shop Shmee150 is going to be back, and back with a bang. We're going to be reopening it again in a couple of days' time. You can sign up to the mailing list to get advanced notifications. We've got some really, really cool designs that are about to launch, and also to celebrate it relaunching, we're going to be giving away a merchandise bundle around the theme of 911 generations. You'll see some of the designs that we have got coming that meet with that theme. Do comment what is your favourite of all the different generations of 911, but also make sure you're signed up to the mailing list, and someone is going to be winning a bundle from the merchandise that we have coming. Do check it out though. More on that is going to be coming really, really, really soon, like within days. But for now, onwards, I guess it's going to get dark very, very quickly towards home and the garage. The traffic and the congested streets of central London. It takes a long time to get anywhere, especially on a gloomy evening like this one, and when you have 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, which are just not fun whatsoever. Anywho, not too far to go now. Just a bit tired, to be honest. Didn't really sleep very much last night. Anyway, we will get this car back to the garage. Stuff to talk about there, and I've come up with a few other cool things that I would like to share with you guys, so that's all coming right up. Here we are then, and the funny thing is that that car was clean when that drive started. It is now not so clean. It is going to need a clean up straight after about 100 miles to bring it back home, where the cars, as I mentioned I think in a previous video, are currently parked in my old spaces because of some works that are going on over in the corner of the supercar storage where my cars normally live now. But over here, of course, we have the GT back. It's been tidied up. It hasn't been completely tidied. I think I'm going to take it over to Topaz just to give it a complete full once over to make sure everything is fine. And of course, as I've said before, that is not the original car cover for the Ford GT. That was the cover that I had made way back when I had my McLaren 12C, and the first time I ever really kind of kept a car stored ever, so I had a cover for it. I will hopefully very soon get a fitted car cover for the Ford GT. Obviously post US tour, it's had quite an adventure, but now kind of in hibernation mode as we head in towards the winter. Next to it we have the 675 LT Spider, which also hasn't featured all that much recently. So the car has actually just been off with McLaren for its full third year check over. A few things and niggles, just small little bits that have been investigated and sorted out while it's been away. There are one or two more things that I want to kind of get done to the car, so it's probably going to go again to have those sorted. Nothing mechanical. Mechanically, the car is running completely perfectly. It's done, what, 12,000 or so miles? So I don't think I mentioned, but we're on about 5,000, just shy of 5,000, 4.5 maybe on the GT in total now. So 12,000 on the LT, still love it, as always, in my MSO Orion Purple. I'm not going to pull the cover completely back right now. And then next to that, obviously, we have the Aston GT8, which after the other day, having those small little issues with the power because of it not being kept on the trickle, well, I haven't taken it out yet for a proper run, but we've got a lot of colour going on here with my cars in the storage. The Shmee plated mobiles. So what else can I tell you? Well, we've got those four here. In addition, of course, we also have the Senna. You've seen the update hopefully with the Senna that's going to be back towards the end of the year. That is 5 of them. we've got the G63 and the Heritage RS. We'll head back over to my apartment building where those are currently living. The red RS is still with Mountain at the moment, but I think I'm going to get it back here at some point. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen next with the red RS, but we'll talk more about that. So that is, what have we missed? AMG GTR Pro. Now, the car is technically here. I've just got to pay for it, deal with all the paperwork, get it sorted out, then go and pick it up. So that's going to be at some point really soon. Just at this point in time, I haven't worked out exactly which day it might be. Might be tomorrow, might be 2 or 3 days. Bear with me. It's coming really, really soon. So, Lusso, Senna, LT, GT8, GT, Red RS, Heritage RS, G63, GTR Pro, Supra. The Supra is over in Germany. That sounds really weird thinking about the cars like that. The Supra, well, this is an interesting one. After SEMA and seeing all of the cars that have these massive, massive, massive tuning projects, knowing mine is the A90 edition, it's a bit special. And we'll go home and take a look at something to do with that too. It's kind of cool to see these two then, sitting side by side, something that wouldn't normally be the case. The original intention was that one would be in the UK, the other would be at my place in Germany. They would swap backwards and forwards, vice versa, so wouldn't really often be sitting side by side, because these are of course the two, I think we could say, more practical cars from the collection at the moment. One a little bit more practical than the other, but in both cases very powerful luxury 4-wheel drive 4 and more seat cars that have a decent amount of luggage space. The GTC4Lusso, more of the kind of front mid-engine sporty naturally aspirated V12, 690 horsepower. That though has even more power. The 4-litre twin-turbo V8 in the G63, thanks to Rentec, is about 800 horsepower or so. This thing is a monster. It's a beast. It's a tank. It is the ultimate off-roading thing that makes insane power, and yes, they are kind of parked quite snugly in here. So since ownership, the Lusso has done around about 5,000 miles in about 9 months. The G63 has done 4,000 miles in about 6 months. The miles are climbing onto this thing quickly, so I expect to have this for a good 2 years or so, especially with all of the effort we went to with the Topaz skin to make it match the Senna. We've got a lot of towing operations still to be done with this. I did my towing license, we've got the tow hook on the back, we will get a trailer and use it to tug some things around. The Lusso, well, I'm sure that will do 2 or 3 years as well in my ownership, but the two cars, the very, very blue corner that we have going on here, parked up very tightly next to one another, and, well, Shmee and Shmee, kind of cool number plates. The 8 and the 0 look quite similar, so I love having those two. I think they look really, really cool together. Like I say, it's not something that we're often going to see with these two, the Lusso and the G63, parked literally side by side. If you were wondering if it was still here then, yes, the Heritage RS is tucked away down here in the garage at the moment, the smallest of my parking spaces here underneath my apartment building. And I know a ton of you are going to say, get a house and then you don't have this problem. Actually, in central London, because of, well, how compact the streets are, living in apartment buildings is what a lot of people do. So you have these underground garages, private for the residents in the building, but of course this is why I'm looking towards having my own private unit, so that we don't just have cars dotted all around the place, and so that we can film some pretty cool videos with all the cars sitting there together in one garage. It's kind of my dream to do. But the Heritage RS, well, obviously I haven't driven it all that much recently. In total, it's got just under 4,000 miles on the clock from some of the adventures we did last winter, taking it down towards the Alps. I'm sure I'll pop the winter tyres back on it. These are the normal, I think they're Pilot Super Sports maybe, that it has on it for the summer on the original tyres, but maybe I'll pop the winters back on this winter and use this car a little bit more. Well, it's 4-wheel drive again after all. Actually, technically, we've now got the 3 4-wheel drive practical cars all here at the apartment building at the same time. But the 68, just a quick reminder, 68 back to the Escort Mark 1 in 1968, the kind of spiritual predecessor to this car 50 years prior, and the car that in the BTCC, the British Touring Car Championship, back in 68, came first in Alan Mann Racing livery, the red and gold, hence the GT. You're probably bored to death of that story by now. Anyway, Heritage RS is all well down here, tucked away for the time being, but there are some things I said I wanted to show you guys upstairs that have come, well, while I've been away. Let's go check them out. The first of 2 things I'd like to show you here is what is inside this box from MR Collection Models, and a big shout out to them, because, well, I was quite difficult with this to get the specification and everything completely right. And am I going to be able to open it while holding a camera? Here we go. A completely spec-matched GTC4Lusso to my car. As many of you know, I love these. I have well, basically every car I've owned, but this is the latest one to arrive. They make the models officially licensed with Ferrari, as you can see, by having the Ferrari logo in Italy, custom made. individually from new, so obviously TDF blue. That is really very, very nice. I'm not going to try and open it up right now because I don't want to damage it, but I keep a hold of all of those forever. The other thing is to do with the other end of the spectrum, to do with the Supra. Check this out. Coming through the mail, I was wondering if the car was going to have a way to distinguish it as an A90, and you have these carbon pieces which go over the passenger side of the dashboard that tell you A90 edition 1 of 90, signed by Akio Toyoda, and then you have the image of the car as well, and also a certificate with the chassis number, and a nice letter as well. So this is all part of that car being super special. There have been so many gifts throughout the journey that go with the A90 Supra, the A90 edition, or just I think anybody who pre-ordered a Supra also had a very special experience. And that is why I think originality is going to be quite key to that car, because, you know, to have these kind of things that go with it. Yes, so that's very nice. That is also very nice. Good times. It's been a much longer day than I anticipated. I am completely and totally exhausted. But I tell you what, if I manage to pull off the man cave, the private garage, that kind of thing, I'm going to need a lot more pictures like that one that have been taken over the years to adorn the walls. I've got some big plans as to the way I can display things and show things, the model cars, the pictures, the memorabilia, even things like the race suits. Hopefully, if this happens, if I can make it work, it's going to be very cool. Just a case of time, I think, until it all pulls together. Today, though, I hope that's answered some of your questions. A garage update, the AMG GTR Pro right around the corner, what's going on with the various cars as well, but lots more to tell you in the very near future too. Don't forget also the new Shmee150 Shop relaunching, the link down below. If you're signed up to the mailing list, you'll find out all of the latest news first as well. So that's it for today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching, guys. It's great to have the Lusso back in the garage. I can't wait, as always, for what's coming right around the corner. Thanks again, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers!